Steve Ellis, Managing Director of Bain and Co. We're in Seoul, South Korea for the World Knowledge Forum. You were speaking this morning at a session about the economic crisis. Do you think we've seen the worst of the crisis now?
Well, it's hard to say, but I would suggest that what we've seen to date, particularly in the last week or so, is the beginning of hopefully very positive effects that we will see from the coordinated responses of many of the central banks and government agencies around the world who have now begun to respond, I think, fairly decisively and with the kind of magnitude that I think the crisis warrants. So I would hope that over the coming months we will see more stability in the global financial markets, but the drag that that's going to have on the global economy and the many, many years of restructuring this is going to require in the global capital markets is something that will take years to unfold. So while hopefully we'll see a little bit more stability in the short run, there's a lot of work to be done before we get the global economy back to where it was just 12 short months ago.
What sort of reforms do you think are needed?
Well, far be it for me to suggest what's going to happen globally, but I don't think there's any question that we're going to need to see a regulatory regime or an oversight regime evolve in the U.S., and I think that will then require a coordinated response from other developed and developing economies around the world that makes it impossible going forward to create the kind of opaque asset-backed securities that find their ways off balance sheet, not at all regulated or capable of being monitored or tracked by those agencies that are responsible for ensuring the health of our financial institutions.
Just briefly on the real economy, do you think we're going to be seeing a period of slowdown, a real slowdown now for the next year or so?
I think it is generally the consensus view today that the major developed economies of the world are either in recession now or will soon enter recession in the fourth quarter this year, early next year. And I believe that we will see significant slowing in even the emerging markets, certainly not recession, but coming down off 8 or 9% GDP down to maybe 5 or 6% GDP growth. And I think that trend is going to take some time to turn around. We have, as I mentioned, restructuring that needs to take place in the financial services markets, recapitalization of many of the leading banks and financial institutions around the world. And until that happens, it's going to be difficult for the kind of liquidity and credit and financial resources to flow into the market to spur growth. And I think we'll also see some challenges with consumer demand, particularly in the U.S. and in Europe, which will, I think, suppress some of the export-driven economies around the world. So I would expect a challenging 2009 and maybe some early signs of a global recovery late next year, probably not until early 2010.
You said at the conference that you think companies should have been preparing for the downturn. What advice would you have generally for companies at this stage?
Well, I think at this stage where we're clearly in the downturn, one of the biggest mistakes that companies can make is to overreact, to drastically cut costs or cut back on capital expenditures or squeeze suppliers or disenfranchise their employees in a way that will make it impossible for them to take advantage of the opportunity that certainly comes with a period of economic uncertainty. That's driven, I think, to a large degree by how strong you are entering the downturn. And if you have been prudent about managing your business in the good times and you have the strength and the clarity to manage through a difficult period like this, you should be able to exit a period of uncertainty like this stronger than when you went in.
Steve Ellis of Bain & Company, thanks for joining us on INSEAD Knowledge.
Great, my pleasure. Thank you.